couldn't agree with you more, Jerry. Honestly, I really couldn't. And I think we have biblical precedent for that. You cited Paul, who said, I saw things that are not lawful to speak. And I think that there are probably a lot of reasons why he couldn't say it, but I think one of them is it wasn't timely in the scope of human history, in the scope of God's, what he's doing with mankind. It wasn't time to talk about third heavens. I would like to just interject my own thoughts about that right now, is that I think we might be entering into a time where some of those things are now being released to us. But let me cite a couple more scriptural precedent. Jesus said in John 3 to Nicodemus, I want to tell you heavenly things, but you can't believe earthly things. So the point was, Jesus is going to have to restrain himself. Later on in John, he says, I have things to tell you, but you can't bear them. And so evidently he did not. We don't know that he did. Except we do know that he said some hard things. In fact, the disciple says, Jesus, you're telling us some hard things. In fact, a few times people left him. In fact, they all left him. It's kind of crazy. Like, Jesus, don't you know you're offending people? But I do think that for the most part, we do want to assess our market, assess what the hearts and minds of the people can handle at that time. Let me just cite last night. I was with the host of our meeting last night, and we had been an hour away from here at somebody's house and had a great afternoon. On the way to the meeting, the host and I rode together in his car, and I says, let's just do a little business before we get there. Let's soften up the atmosphere. First of all, we engaged my two favorite angels for when I'm going into meetings. Buster, he busts open stuck in hard places, and Parlay, one who helps me in presentation, helps me to know how and what to present. And then in doing that, my heart was made tender. I had tears. I love these angels. I really do. I love these angels. They have become dear, dear, dear partners with me. They are a heavenly resource or asset that I have come to greatly appreciate. But in the process, as I say, my heart was very tender and I had tears. And I said to my host, Jeff, you guys know Jeff Doherty. I said, Jeff, let's take it a step further. Let's expand our spirit over these people and bring them into this tender experience that I'm having right now. Bring them into the environment of what I'm experiencing. Take the essence, the power, the environment of my internal man and expand it over them. And I said, I want to call forth tenderness that's evidenced with tears and evidenced with just wonderful freedom, even laughter. It is a tender laughter. It's like, this is amazing, kind of just bursts out. Well, we had at least one lady who several times during the course of the evening just broke out, and you couldn't tell whether she was crying or laughing. It was so amazing. She was just beside herself, kind of like Paul says, if I'm beside myself, it's for God, And she was definitely beside herself. And definitely we had tears and we had laughter throughout the course of the evening. So to recap, Jerry, I totally agree with you. We should not just go around spilling the beans and dumping the dump truck of the stuff on everybody until or unless the Lord has helped us understand we got a green light. Paul says, I'm all things to all men in order that I might win some. When Jesus went and hung out with the harlots and the drunks, I'm pretty sure he didn't talk high-level eschatological apostolic end-time stuff to them, I'm pretty sure he was just a friend. He met them where they were, and then, of course, he got with the 5,000, and he's trying to just get them to believe there's a good God. Blessed are they that, and all the blesseds. And then he gets with the 70, and then he gets with the 12, and then he gets with the 3, and then he has John, the beloved. And each one of them are another level of not only, I think, intimacy, but rapport, the capacity to exchange because of the connectedness on the heart level. And so I think as Jesus modeled and as Paul said, it's important, it's incumbent upon us to determine and assess what our market is. And then, Jerry, as you stated the scenario early on, we don't want to drive a 10-ton truck over a 1-ton bridge. That probably ain't going to be real good, And so, yeah, there are just a ton of people, we have to just stay in the evangelistic mode. We're just evangelists, meaning God's good. Do you guys believe that? Would you? And then the next ones we're in the pastoral mode. Oh, you stubbed your toe. Let me help you and kiss the boo-boo, and we'll just kind of make it through, and you're going to be all right now. And then there are those that are in the think tank, in the trenches with you, and their hearts are beating together like the man who said in the chariot, is your heart as my heart? If so, let's go. Let's ride in the chariot. Let's go. So every one of those require a very different MO. Look at this. This is 2 Kings 10. So now when he departed from there and met Jehonadab and the son of Rechab coming to meet him, and he greeted him and said to him, is your heart right as my heart is with your heart? And Jehonadab said, it is. And Jehu said, if it is, give me your hand. And he gave him his hand, and he took him up in his chariot, and he says, come with me and see my zeal for the Lord. So he made him ride in his chariot.